Hi, I'm Brian Morgan. I'm from Jangling Space. Jangling Space is based on the south side of Glasgow. I've brought some bling with me. It's not an earring. It could be an earring, but I'm not going to wear it as an earring or anything. But it's really important just to say that these products that we make are actually byproducts. So that's what I'm going to tell you a story about. The products are just byproducts, as beautiful as they are. I started off working down south in a community development role and also in health. And I came across Men in Sheds. In Worthing in particular. They were lovely, a lovely bunch, a great project to work with. I loved it. They made all sorts of things, but what they made wasn't that important, really. It was just the fact that they made stuff together. It had great public health outcomes. Everyone loved it in lots of ways. But the thing that they made wasn't important. And what we wanted to do was we really wanted to make what we make very, very important. It's the same sort of concept as a men's shed. People get together, reduce social isolation, but actually let's make some beautiful stuff while we're at it. I moved from where I was, down in Worthing, up to Glasgow. That's a lovely picture of the Finnieston crane. And I started really thinking, a bit like Chris, what's going on in Glasgow around Men in Sheds? There weren't any. So I thought, I'm going to set up a Men in Shed. But I was also going through a change in my life, and it was changing my job from what I was doing, which was sort of, office-y based sort of stuff, to actually, I really want to do something with my hands as well. It seemed to be important to me to do something with my hands. That book was very important in that. When I started looking at men's sheds, even though there wasn't one in Glasgow, there were lots everywhere. And they were doing all sorts of things. And what was really noticeable was that actually men's sheds was tending to get set up by charities and agencies. They weren't community-based, and that was something that I was really intrigued to do. So then I thought, I'm going to set something up, but it was really important that I set it up as a cooperative, not the supermarket. Everyone thinks it's a supermarket all the time. It's not the supermarket. It's a cooperative, obviously, as a democratic structure for a business. And so it was really important that we set it up as a cooperative because it's that political aim. We wanted people to be involved. I had a bit of time thinking about this because I happened to get a place on a program that helps social enterprises get set up, and that's us all there. And it was all sorts of things. So I had time to really think about this. And when I was going around saying, I want to set up a makers cooperative to make beautiful things, lots of people just said to me, why a cooperative? That's the hard way of doing it. But I stuck at it. I was traveling around and really trying to get a real sense of what it was that we were going to make. People were saying, that's great, you're going to do stuff. So what are you going to make? And my answer to that was, I don't know, because it's a cooperative. It's not up to me to decide what we make. It's up to everyone who's involved. But I was getting sort of inspiration from that book. The books are not working for me tonight, are they? The book that you just saw there, which was Reusing Materials. Extraordinary book, extraordinary name. What am I doing here? Apparently, I was doing some sort of Japanese management technique and taking all this information in. It's called Niwawashi. That's what that's there for. Good, that's gone. Niwawashi meant that... So the idea was coming together. You get me? It was an old idea, but there was something new emerging here, and it was really important to let this new emerge. So we got some founding members of the cooperative together, and we started drawing bits and pieces. And you can see anti-consumerism's there as well, Chris. I got told not to use that too much. That was by some business mentor. Pistoletto. I haven't got long enough to talk about Pistoletto. It was really, really, really important to this. Pistoletto wrote about the third paradise. The old world and the new world, and this space in the middle, what's emerging in this new space is really, really important. And that's what Jangling Space is really trying to meet, this new emerging world. Making is connecting, absolutely fundamental. Someone introduced me to it, and that is the thing, basically. Connecting through making. So you're going to start seeing stuff now where we're moving on to... We're moving on to, see that little scribble? It's now like this, look, see? And really want to draw your attention to the gifts. The gifts of the hand leads to the gift of the head. We make products, byproducts of making. They're byproducts of connection. Chris was talking about it. People connect, we're visible. And then when they connect, they share something magic happens. They start talking about what they can do rather than what they can't do. We can do stuff, we can do stuff. And so they then go on to, you didn't quite see that, did you? They go on, there's an education space in Jangling Space, and it's around popular education. You know that the South Americans are very good at popular education. We can share things together and teach each other things. You saw a bit of that there. Very, very important for Jangling Space to start with values. These are our values. You're never going to be able to read that in 20 seconds. Beauty. participation, sustainability, and power, and place. Place is very, very important. At the moment, we're on the south side of Glasgow. We're a cooperative. We're signed up to cooperative principles. Really, really important. We've had a bit of money and we're trying it out. We're trying out stuff. And we've been trying out at Govan Hill Baths. We've been playing around in Govan Hill Baths for a little while. Jangling Space has not got its own space yet, but we've been playing in Govan Hill Baths. That's like the front door of Govan Hill Baths, see? It's about place. There it is. I'll just stand here now. Every single Jangling Space piece has a found object in it. We go around the streets, we look at beauties of value, so we go around and we pick up rubbish off the streets. How can we use it? Every Jangling Space piece has a found piece of Glasgow incorporated into it. On that one, it's probably that one there. That looks like a mirror. This is us making. This is where all the... It's funny, these pictures, they sort of look the same, no matter where the maker's space is. It's just like, it's just lovely. See your tools, there's some amazing stained glass tools. I want to know if you've got FIDs. Have you got FIDs? No? Right, okay, well there you go. But there's all sorts of things and people love it. It's a great collaborative process. You can break down stained glass into really little bite-sized chunks and people can do it. It's easy to do. They think they can't do it, but they can do it. And what's lovely is it links back to history, it links back to heritage. It's Glasgow, there's bits of stained glass. People say they've lost community, but then we've lost this beauty, there's things like that going on. Anyway, last slide. We need to find a place. It's really, really important we have a visible place, and it has to be a shop front. And that little one there, which was a little game shop, is where I've got my eyes on. Fingers crossed for Jangling Space. Come and visit us, and it'd be great to see you all.